If you do not have the skill set to research, or you do not have the coins to pay somebody to research, then living abroad might not be for you. So I wanted to do a separate video talking about working abroad, and saving money while living abroad. Let's get down to business. I'm here at Hona Cafe. Absolutely fabulous. It's in Don Bosco, a little outside of the city center in Toronto, but it's worth it, babe. Short taxi right away. They do have buses that come here, but me and the buses are not friends right now. More about that on my social media. When it comes to living abroad, you're gonna have to put them big girl panties on and become accountable for your own life. I mean this when I say it. If you do not have the skill set to research, or you do not have the coins to pay somebody to research, then living abroad might not be for you. I have seen a lot of my fellow content creators who work in the travel space be inundated with questions about how do you do this, how do you do that in their comment section. And we already give so many things for free, okay? We literally do so much. I'm not about to start complaining. But even if we spoon fed that information to you guys, it still wouldn't be enough, okay? You're gonna have to take accountability and do the work. We're giving you a starting point. We're showing you that it's possible. But for you to actually succeed as an expat in whatever country you wanna go to, you're gonna have to do some work. Now that that's taken into account, let's get into the ways that I have made money abroad, I recommend making money abroad, or saving money while on the road. Yes, God. This is so good, y'all. So good. It's like cinnamon and some berry herbal tea. I'm a herbal tea girl. Before we start looking for the jobs, looking who's gonna pay the girls, I want you to take an assessment of all the skills that you have. Write it down on a piece of paper or type it out in your notes app. Every skill that you can do, like go as basic as cleaning, cooking, babysitting, teaching, English. Okay, if you speak English, it's a big asset. Teaching whatever language. If you're taking a college course on it, I want you to put it down. If you feel like you could do it with a little 1-2. We're grown, okay? We know that basically almost every job can be taught on the job as long as you got some sort of context or skill. So write it down. Once you get a full assessment of what you can do, now we can start looking for ways that you can make some money. Now that you have that list, you could put it into ChatGPT or just start brainstorming jobs that align with the skill set that you have. And there's most likely a place out there that you can either do it online or you can do it in person. Now, for things like teaching English or babysitting, au pairing, there's so many programs out there with opportunities like that. Here's the thing. You don't even necessarily need to work for a foreign company in order to work in person in another country. How? Let me explain. I don't know if y'all seen, I know y'all seen it. If you're into the tech thing, there's a woman named Simone Bees, as she's known. I'm in her Discord as the travel coordinator. And she does so much content on government tech, DOD jobs, working for the government, basically. She has worked for the government and lived abroad in countries like Korea, I believe Taiwan, a few other countries. And not only do they pay her a very good salary, they fly her out, they put her up in an apartment, really nice luxury apartments, and she gets to live abroad. Sometimes, depending on the role, you can work remotely in another country or you can work hybrid. The options are endless, and don't think that you have to work in tech in order to work these kind of jobs. They are looking for, I have seen theater teachers, I have seen janitors, I have seen people like teaching kids, like supervising children, honey, and they're living in Germany, they're living in Taiwan, they're living in Japan. And these jobs are open to civilians as well. These are not just jobs for people who are already in the government sector. So I'm gonna put her information below. Get on that. If you wanna, you're like, hey, I just don't wanna deal with it. They'll fly you out, they'll put you up. I've seen places in Italy. In fact, I met a woman, even before I was the lady who travels, in 2021 in Italy. She's an American. She works for the government over there. And living her best life, honey. She has not been back in the States since. I think she was there for about 2 years when I met her. So it's almost been like 5 years of her living abroad in Italy, working for the government. and getting that good American salary in a European country. Let's be honest. A lot of you guys' concern is about the salary, because when you're getting paid in a local salary, it'll help you get by, but it definitely won't be the same amount that you might be used to back in the States. So let's put that into account. So yeah, that's another way that you can live abroad, make some money, and it'll be familiar because you're working for the U.S. government. Also, teaching English in different destinations. There's a ton of people on TikTok especially who are showing what life is like teaching English in Spain. My girl from Queen Bee Travels, she taught English in China for about 5 years. She's going back very soon. I'm going to put her information below. She's also in the Move Abroad Guide, which is free, which is a free way that you can learn if you're just like, I don't know anything about this moving abroad thing. I want to look into it. I don't know where to start. My free Move Abroad Guide is in the description box below. It will help you, okay? And go on LinkedIn and just type in whatever country you're going to. You can even type the region. You can type like Europe or EMEA, European, Middle East, Asia. And whatever job you're looking to do, there's jobs that if you have a good skill set, they will pay you to move there and they will get you settled in their country. So don't sleep, okay? Also, if you're wanting to move to France, I talked about this on my Move Abroad board when I was doing it. Now I just do it exclusively for my email list, and my email list is free. It's called La French Tech, and it's for French startup companies for people to work for them. And some of them sponsor visa, so check that out as well. So all these things that I mentioned are all in-person jobs. But what if you're wanting to work remotely and bounce from country to country, or you just about that remote work life? I'm gonna be honest with you, it's harder than it was before, but it's not impossible. It took me 4.5 months to find my freelance client while I was still working in person in the US. And I did my own assessment of all my skill sets and applied to jobs in every single skill set that I could possibly do. But you're gonna have to be able to prove that you know what you're doing, whether it's a certification, a license, other clients that you've worked for in the past. And you're gonna have to hustle. Not a passive thing. I've joined a ton of freelance email newsletters. I'll put some on the screen, and they send opportunities. I'm pitching people myself. I have a portfolio of what I can do if it's that type of field. If it's like tech, maybe some projects that you've done. It's not a passive thing. Other thing to keep in mind is that if you're working for a company that is US based, a lot of them want you to stay in the US for tax purposes. So I would look into getting on a 1099 and on a W-2 if possible, because then you'll be accounted for your own taxes, but then the company that you're working for doesn't have to worry about that for you. Just keep that in mind. Also, I'm going to put down some remote work options, but just keep that in mind. Like some of the companies, if they're based in the US, they're going to want you to be there. I'm not suggesting y'all to do any nefarious VPN things, but it is possible. I have heard. I have not done it, but good luck. So yeah, you can find work online through LinkedIn, through any of the resources that I mentioned before, pitching people yourself, but make sure that you're on your P's and Q's and realize that when you get one client, it's one thing to get a client, it's another thing to keep a client, and it's another thing to have a client renew. So even while you have your client, never get too settled. Always have different ways to get your money, okay? For my content creators, there's a few things that I wanted to bring up if you're interested in being a content creator, or maybe you already are one. You want to move abroad, but you're scared about brand deals and stuff like that. Make sure that you have a way that money is coming into you every single month. That's why I'm here on YouTube. I am finally monetized. Praise the Lord. Thank you guys so much. So that's going to be another revenue stream for me. I also have my website, theladyWhoTravels.com, where I share travel tips and guides. And I also have that monetized as well as another form of revenue. Another way to save money while on the road is house sitting, where you can help somebody take care of their house while they're on vacation. Sometimes it's taking care of their pets. Another way is house swapping, where your apartment is now being swapped with another person, another place. I like to do that sometimes to save money so I can see new countries for a cheap price. There's sites where you can do it officially, like home swapping, I believe.com. Kindred is another one. It's a newer platform. Or you can do it informally through Facebook groups where you post pictures of your house, you swap it with somebody, and you do it that way. To each their own. Another way that you can see the world, make some money, not a lot of money, but you'll make some money, is a program called World Packers. They have jobs all over the world. You'll pay a very small fee and you They have jobs where you might work in a kitchen, or you might work on a farm, or you might work in a hostel and you're checking people in and you get free room and board. And you could do that in conjunction with any of the other ways that I mentioned that you can work. And that could be a good little 1-2 for you. So I'd check out World Packers. I'd also suggest Cool Works. Cool Works is mostly US based companies, I believe, but they have some cool locations. And that's also a great way to stack some money up on the low, and then you could use that money to go travel if you want. I meet a lot of people who have done that before. What else? Teaching English as a second language. If you're going to do that, make sure to try to get that certification. There are some free programs. I have my TEFL. It's always good to have in the back just in case you need to get some money real quick. International schools where you could teach English in person. There are some here in Albania. The salary is comparable to the local standards, so keep that in mind when you apply. But you'll be able to pay your bills and do what you need to do. So that's another option. Like I mentioned, if you work in a skill set that is highly sought after, like in a medical field or in tech or teaching, you can transfer those skills to a job in person or online in whatever destination country you're deciding to go to. I think I answered all your questions about this. If you're interested in doing this, you're going to have to put that initiative out there, put that work in, and I know you can do it. It took me a while. I'm not going to be here and lie to you like any other influencer, like, oh, it just happened. No, I have a certain standard for my life, a certain standard of life that I've lived. I've been very fortunate to have a certain standard, and I do not want to go down on that just so I could say I could live abroad. I'm no longer in that phase of my life, so it took me a while, but I'm very proud of the life that I built for myself here. I don't regret a thing. It was hard. It was a lot of rejections. I applied to so many jobs. I pitched so many people, and I still pitch people as a content creator. And so I got used to hearing no. All I had to hear is one yes. Or spiritual, get into a spiritual practice, honey, because that is what's going to ground you in those times where things seem to not be going your way. I wish you the best of luck. And as always, my name's Abigail, and you're watching The Lady Who Travels. Thank you for joining me today. If you'd like to learn more about life here in Albania, solo travel tips, travel inspiration, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm so grateful that you decided to spend time with me today. Have a great rest of your day, and as we say here in Albania, Hapshin!